So excited to hear Nathan Brown. You know, you look around the state of Arkansas, you look around the nation. When you can have a coach that rolls into town that's officially announced as of 11 o'clock a.m., the number 9 ranked FCS team in America, UCA Bears. How about that? Top 10. Great to have Nathan here. This is week number 11, Rex. We got, four more to go, plus Herschel Walker at the end of the year. Gary, if you would you come up and lead us in a word of prayer draped in purple tonight, if you would. Come on up, Gary.
Let's pray, folks. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the day you've given us today to serve you and to serve others. Lord, just give us strength. Use the food that we've enjoyed today to give us the strength. And just use us in every way possible. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thanks, Gary. Appreciate that. So nice to have Nathan Brown here today. Some of you may not know this. Like, how many of you go back? Let's say if you remember back in 2007, 2008. Raise your hand if you remember. So we've got a few members here. So Nathan Brown was the UCA MVP in 2007, 2008 for our banquet back then. And I think since then, Nathan, we've been bringing in bigger names. Back then, we used to let everybody speak. But how cool is it that we have a former honoree of this touchdown club that's now speaking today as a head coach, and we said that last year as well. I do want to remind everybody to mute your phones if you will. If you want somebody that's not here to hear Coach Brown speak, they can go to lrtouchdown.com. They can go to Facebook, our Facebook page, Little Rock Touchdown as well, or they can listen on the buzz. It will be live on the buzz. So if you do that, just mute your phones, if you will. I want to thank everybody who's bought memberships. We appreciate you. How many enjoyed Houston Nutt last week? Was he not outstanding? Wow. So one thing that's great about when we have Mark Rick and Bill Snyder and Urban Meyer and Houston Nutt, you wouldn't believe the pops we get around the country for things that are said. So Urban Meyer says something, Bill Snyder says something, Mark Rick says something, Houston Nutt says something, but got a lot of pops from what Houston had to say this past week, so we appreciate what he had to say. Next week, Blake Anderson. So we want to make sure, again, some people ask about our club. We're not a Razorback club. We're a football club here in Arkansas. High school, all colleges, we support them all. So great to have Nathan here today. We want to support Blake Anderson next week. Do want to thank our sponsors real quick, Twin City Limousine. Greg Hatcher is here today, so great. Lane got a win at Arkansas State this past weekend. I'm walking up the stairs. Yeah, let's give it up for Greg and his son Lane. Yes. So Greg is the typical dad, Nathan. He goes, hey, listen, they're going man-to-man coverage, or they're dropping 8 deep, and they're only rushing 3. They're making us have to run. And so love the fact he's so locked into what Lane is doing, and hope he continues to have success, Greg. We appreciate your success, Twin City Limousine. Look forward to having Blake here next week. CJRW, if you need any help with your advertising, branding, whatever, website, they are the best in the South. Please take advantage of them. We're getting ready to crank up our Cliff Harris Award efforts, and they are a key in that. 103.7 The Buzz. Did Wes and Justin take care of you today, Nathan? They should have. We appreciate them going live, and my buddies Roger and Tommy and RJ supporting what we do here at the Touchdown Club. 103.7 The Buzz. Arkansas Urology, guys, make sure and go get tested, get checked. Please do that. Don't wait around. Don't make your wife or a girlfriend force you to do it. Just go do it. We appreciate Scott Davis and the 17 physicians, 9 locations for Arkansas Urology. And they also support and sponsor the live broadcast for the Buzz. War Memorial Stadium. Rex, I don't know if you've heard this, but there's been an effort out there to make sure we try to have people at War Memorial Stadium for the Missouri game. Now, who knows what the record will be for the Razorbacks? Don't know. But I think it would be mindful of Central Arkansas still to get out there and somehow support and show support for that game. Missouri does not have a bowl game, so that will be their bowl game basically. So War Memorial Stadium, I know, will look better than ever. We appreciate the Arkansas Parks and Tourism for the work they do there. Thanks to them. Farm Bureau of Pulaski County, Todd Dennis, Stephen Riker. Where's Todd? Is Todd here today? Todd, always appreciate your support. Make sure and give him a chance to quote any insurance needs you may have, auto, homeowners, boat, and health. Farm Bureau of Insurance in Pulaski County. It's been tough, Todd, to look out there, and Coach Morris has that backdrop of Farm Bureau in the background. And he just struggles to try to be positive, and it's tough. But we appreciate Farm Bureau being there to support regardless. Dairy Queen, do you want to thank them, the largest DQ franchise in the state. They will be opening their Greenbrier franchise here shortly. Thank you to them. Simmons Bank Arena, 15,000 for Eric Church this past weekend. So that's massive. But to remind everybody, December 21st, Rex, do you know who's playing December 21st? At the arena, Simmons Bank Arena. Valparaiso, Valpo versus the Arkansas Razorbacks. The men play at night, but the women play Little Rock at 1 o'clock. So get out and support Simmons Bank Arena. That will be a great night here for Central Arkansas. We appreciate all the support they have. Big Red Stores, new location coming to Sherwood. What's our opening date, my Hendricks friends? December the 7th. Is that a hard date? It's a hard date. Listen, these guys are so great, what they do in the community. David and Dove Hendricks, David Jr., Landon, Emily, all the folks, and, of course, Roger Scott. 40 locations across the state. We appreciate the Big Red Stores and their support of the Touchdown Club. Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings. Did I see Charlie Coleman here today from Wright, Lindsay? Listen, did you know how popular your brother has become more popular than you, Charlie? You're a great lawyer, but Walt Coleman on the buzz now every week is now become the superstar. So, but we appreciate Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings and all the work they do. We appreciate them and their support of the Cliff Harris Award. We wouldn't have a Cliff Harris Award if it were not for Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings. We appreciate that. Let them help you with any legal needs you need. Crane Automotive, we appreciate them. 19 dealerships, over 800 employees across the state. The winner of tickets to the suite. Now, there is a game being played in Fayetteville this week, and Larry Crane and the Crane Automotive Suite, they're offering 2 tickets, and the winner this week is Cassie Caldwell. Cassie, are you here? Where's Cassie? Give it up for Cassie Caldwell back there. Actually, she was Hogman's Game Day Superstore. Listen, it's rough going right now if your store is called Hogman's Game Day Superstore. So we're praying for you, Cassie and Steve Jenkins. But you get to enjoy 2 seats in the Crane Automotive box this weekend, thanks to them. We appreciate them. The Democrat Gazette, Wally Hall, Amanda Copley. Thanks, Amanda, for all your work and helping us honor our Player of the Week, who we'll meet here in just a second. Couldn't do it without you. Thank you for your support all these years, the Democrat Gazette. Make sure have you learned on your iPad how to do it, Rex? Okay, just making sure. Finally, our presenting sponsor, Simmons Bank. Founded in 1903, 8 states, $20 billion in assets. Richard Johnson, John Moreau, representing Simmons today. We could not do what we do every year without Simmons Bank. They are the premier presenting sponsor in America, without a question. So let's get up for Simmons Bank and all of our great sponsors. We couldn't do it without you. Of course, Simmons also sponsors the Willie Rofe Award. And boy, how about those Saints? You got to be happy at that, Rex. Yeah, oh my gosh. Do you want to thank our Touchdown Club team? Coach Brown, we've got the best Touchdown Club volunteer team in America. The Doubletree Hotel, Jeff, Beth, and Brant do a great job of setting us up every week. Matt Johnson doing production. Dwayne Duncan, photography. RJ Hawk, social media. Meredith Scott Hell, who works at CareLink, volunteers for social media. Samantha Montgomery from the AG office, volunteering for social media. Grant Garrett Excavation, and Ann Jansen Broadwater. We've got the best volunteer team out there. And I didn't mention her last week. I have lights in my eyes, but Christy Harris Jewell, I named off about 8 or 9 of our volunteers last week, and I left off Christy. Christy's here just like all of our ladies and guys who are here every week, coach 2 to 3 hours a week for free on Mondays. And they do an amazing job, led by Debbie Wyman, our executive director. Let's give a big round of applause for them if you don't mind. They are a well-oiled machine. All right, time for our All-Arkansas Preps Player of the Week. His name is Austin Ledbetter. He is a junior quarterback at Bryant. If you haven't heard, Bryant is the number 14th team ranked by USA Today in America. Number 14, worth a round of applause. Yes. So 2 weeks ago, Austin threw, listen to this these are only first half stats. Only first half. 15 of 19, so only 4 incompletions, 209 yards, 5 touchdown passes in the first half, and their win over Fort Smith Southside. The score ended up being 55-0. This past weekend, he throws 4 touchdown passes in a 55-10 win. What Bryant's doing is very impressive. Mercy ruled every opponent this year. So very fitting that we finally have a Bryant Hornet here. Let's give a Little Rock Touchdown Club welcome to our All-Arkansas Preps Player of the Week, Austin Ledbetter from Bryant. good-looking young man. Great to have his father, Lee Ledbetter, here today. Lee prognosticated this amazing success a couple years ago. Just said, watch out for Bryant and my son. Austin, we'll be glad to have you back again if you guys keep winning. I do want to make mention that, have you developed, I don't know, our regular members have noticed that a lot of our honorees have been bringing teammates. And so, such is the case today with Austin. He brought Joseph Young and Hayden Schrader, who are two wide receivers. Let's give it up for them. Joseph and Hayden. So very strategic. You get to get out of class for like 3 hours. So brilliant. You owe Austin for that. I congratulate Buck James for the amazing job that he's done at Bryant. You guys keep winning. Maybe we'll have you guys back again. Great job, great work, what you've been doing. Congratulations, Austin. I also want to remind everybody real quick, I mentioned Hogman's Game Day Superstore. For those of you who have ordered shirts, Touchdown Club shirts, I think they're in this week. RJ will be monogramming them with the Touchdown Club logo. Cassie, thanks for all your help at Hogman's Game Day Superstore with that. Without further ado, we've got a lot of ground to cover this weekend. Nobody does it better than Rex Nelson, everybody. Give it up for Rex.
Thanks, everybody, and so glad to have all our UCA friends today. A lot who aren't regularly here. We're happy to have them. In fact, luckily, David, I happen to have a lot of purple in the closet at home, so I was able to put my purple on today for them. For those of y'all who aren't here on a regular basis, I've been telling the rest of our crowd, they just lost their sense of humor. My job has really become difficult this year, so I don't even try anymore. David, I could have done the old, she won 2 tickets, the loser gets 4 tickets to the private box. But I'm not even going to try that. Not even going to try that. That's the old, I left 2 tickets in my car, somebody broke the window out, and there were 6 when I got back. All right, let's move on. Now, we've been telling you all season there's a lot of good football being played this year in Arkansas. The other 11 programs outside of the University of Arkansas at 4-year colleges and universities, get this, went 9-2 on Saturday against out-of-state competition. All of them playing out-of-state teams. They made Arkansas look good. Now, of the 12 4-year colleges that play in Arkansas, and this doesn't mean anything, but I'm into trivia. It's just trivia, but it's interesting. The only 3 losers on Saturday were the football-playing institutions in the University of Arkansas system. UA, UAM, and UAPB. Everybody else won. So what do you say we start with UCA today? UCA now stands atop the Southland Conference standings. Bears moved to 6-2 overall, 4-1 in conference, 29-25 over Sam Houston State. Bearcats fall to 5-4 and 4-2. Sam Houston led that game 16-0 at halftime. I'm sure Coach is going to tell us what his halftime talk was. UCA tied the score 22-22, 8:36 left, a 28-yard pass from Braylon Smith to Carlos Blackman, 2-point conversion. Sam Houston comes back. They go on top with a 43-yard field goal with 5:13 remaining. UCA then comes back itself, takes the lead on a 15-yard pass from Smith to Tyler Hudson with 3:57 left to play. And then Sam Houston drives to the red zone, fumbles at the UCA 18 with 21 seconds left. Bears win, and again, they are atop the conference standings right now. Congratulations to them. As David mentioned, Arkansas State improved to 4-4, 2-2 in conference, so they've evened their record 38-14 over Texas State in Jonesboro. Texas State falls to 2-5 and 1-2. Quarterback Lane Hatcher, 18 of 28 passing, 158 yards, 2 touchdowns. Fine receiver Omar Bayless, 7 receptions, 77 yards, and 2 touchdowns. In the second half of that game, both UCA and ASU had great second halves. ASU outscored Texas State 21-0 in the second half. Now, you know how I always say get out and see a college football game on Saturday. My Ouachita broadcast was on a Thursday, but I got out and saw a college football game. I went and saw Grambling at UAPB, and both bands were there, David. You talk about a great show. If you've never done that, you need to do a Grambling UAPB game sometime. Great game. Grambling escapes Pine Bluff with a 39-33 victory. Golden Lions had a chance to win it at the end, but an interception, or they got an interception, returned it 19 yards to the Tiger 11 with 3:11 left. They're down 6, so a touchdown and an extra point wins it. But on 4th and 5 from the 6, the Golden Lions throw an interception. Still having a good year. They're improving quickly from last year. They're 5-3 overall, 2-2 in the SWAC. Grambling is 3-4 and 1-2 in the SWAC. Now, in the Great American Conference, Ouachita remains the only undefeated team in the state, following a 27-13 win over Southern Nazarene in the wind, the rain, and the cold in Oklahoma City on Thursday night. I probably never have, David, done a sustained game. Now, I've had storms come through, but from start to finish, 30-mile-an-hour wind out of the north, driving rain, and 40 degrees. So you can imagine what the wind chill was. Nazarene punted once from its 25, and we got the ball in the red zone. They blew the ball backwards. I've never seen anything quite like it. But anyway, escaped. It was the 24th consecutive GAC victory for Ouachita, 24 straight. Ouachita's 8-0. Tigers did trail 13-0 in the first half before waking up and scoring the final 27 points. Henderson goes to 7-1, 41-27 at 1-7 Southeastern Oklahoma. That's the 9th consecutive Ready win over the Savage Storm. Henderson quarterback Richard Stameti, 24 of 34 passing, 234 yards and 3 TDs. SAU also goes to 7-1. 24-23, they escape at 1-7 East Central Oklahoma. Mule Riders trailed in that game 20-7 with 7:50 left in the third quarter. Finally went ahead for good on a 35-yard field goal with 5:24 left in the game. Harding also 7-1. 47-13 at 2-6 Northwestern Oklahoma. Bisons outrushed the Rangers 413-101. Cole Chansey, I've been mentioning his name every week. He's regularly topping 200 yards now. He had 206 yards rushing on 30 carries. And Arkansas Tech, which started 0-6, you might remember, wins its second consecutive game to improve to 2-6, 36-35 victory at 2-6 Southwestern Oklahoma. Wonder Boys were trailing 35-26 going into the fourth quarter and come from behind to win it. Only GAC team from Arkansas to lose, UAM. They're 5-3 now. They fell 33-31 at 4-4 Oklahoma Baptist. So we go into the final 3 weeks of the conference season. It's going to be fun because you got Ouachita at 8-0, Henderson, SAU, and Harding all at 7-1. So it's a 4-way race with 3 weeks to go. Now, let's go to the SEC. No Tua, no problem. Alabama races to a 41-0 halftime lead, ends up beating Arkansas 48-7 to go to 8-0. Hogs are 2-6 and 0-5. 15th consecutive SEC loss for Arkansas. 13th consecutive loss to Alabama. Alabama reserve quarterback Mac Jones, 18 of 22 passing, 235 yards, 3 touchdowns. Alabama got 24 of its first half points off turnovers, so they got a lot of help. Arkansas now 4-21 all time versus number 1 teams in the AP poll. But as you probably saw in the AP poll, Alabama drops to second now, and LSU is now first. That's because LSU beat Auburn 23-20 in the game of the day. Joe Burrow passing for 321 yards and a touchdown. He runs for another 47 yards and another score. That's his 8th career 300-yard-plus passing performance. So LSU also 8-0. Both Alabama and LSU have open dates this week. So they've got 2 weeks to get ready for the big showdown, which CBS says they're keeping in the afternoon, by the way. So that will be a 2:30 game a week from Saturday. Texas A&M moves to 5-3, 3-2, 49-30 victory over Mississippi State. Bulldogs come to Fayetteville at 3-5 overall, 1-4 in conference. That is a winnable game, David. Kellen Mond passed for 234 yards and accounted for 5 touchdowns for the Aggies. Tennessee gets a much-needed victory. They're 3-5, 2-3 in the conference, 41-21 over South Carolina. South Carolina is 3-5 and 2-4. Tennessee outscored South Carolina 24-0 in the second half. Kentucky evens its record at 4-4 overall. They're 2-4 in conference. 29-7 whipping of Missouri, which is really up and down this year. Tigers are now 5-3 overall, 2-2 in the conference. That was a driving rainstorm, by the way, in Lexington. The two teams combined for 7 fumbles in that football game. Now, back in Arkansas, our only Division II team, Hendrix, also wins. 549 yards of offense, 41-12 win at Austin College in Sherman, Texas. Warriors had 358 through the air, 191 on the ground. They're 5-2 overall, 3-2 in the conference. And Lyon College, our only NAIA program, 5-2 overall, 4-1 in conference. How about that? After a 42-7 win over Wayland Baptist in Batesville. All right, this week in the SEC, Texas San Antonio at Texas A&M, Ole Miss at Auburn, Florida at Georgia in the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, as they call it, in Jacksonville, Vanderbilt at South Carolina, UAB at Tennessee, and Mississippi State at Arkansas. Other games in Arkansas, 8-0 Ouachita versus 7-1 Southern Arkansas. That should be quite a game. That is at a neutral location in El Dorado, the Murphy USA Classic. You've also got East Central Oklahoma and Harding, Southeastern Oklahoma at Arkansas Tech, Henderson at UAM, Trinity at Hendrix. So, games in Fayetteville, El Dorado, Searcy, Russellville, Monticello, and Conway. Weather's going to be great. I've already looked on Saturday. No excuses. Get your butt off the couch, get away from the TV, and get out and see a college football game. Support these teams. Thanks, everybody.
Woo! We need to get like a map company to endorse Rex for that deal right there. Thank you, Rex. A couple things real quick. First of all, Debbie brought to me some keys that were left up here. And I looked at the emblem, and there's only one person in this room that has this emblem. It's a Wyoming cowboy emblem. So that is actually my girlfriend's vehicle. Wow. I've got your keys, honey. Yeah, I do have to say thank you to Jessica for supporting the Touchdown Club and me every week. She comes every week, pretty much. And yeah, let's give it up for her. I'm the worst boyfriend in the world. She never sees me, but she's super supportive, and I love her for that, and I appreciate that, and I've got your keys. You're not getting home without me. All right, a couple folks before I enter a special guest before we bring up Coach Brown. So first of all, this picture I want to show you real quick. This is from the 1927 UCA team. Now, the coach at the top left-hand corner here is a gentleman by the name of L.R. Sawyer. He was later football coach and superintendent of Waldron Schools. So in this year, 1927, UCA, which was called the teacher school back then, right, Rex? So Arkansas State Teachers Association. In 1927, they lost to the Razorbacks 33-7. Well, his son is here today, and I want to recognize him. Tom Sawyer. Where's Tom at? Give Tom a big round of applause. How cool is that? Very nice. So see, one of these days, Nathan, I'll be holding up this picture of you, but somebody will be doing this with you a few years from now, if you can believe that. Also want to recognize Mike Erie's family, Deanne, Richard. I noticed, Deanne, you're here. Good to see you. Kane is here. They're the sponsor of the Dan Hampton Award. So great to have you all here. Couldn't do the Dan Hampton Award without you guys. Tell Mike hello for me if you could. Also, want to say Hope Hankins. I didn't see you here last week. Thank you for volunteering. Every week, we appreciate that. Also, we have another receiver from Bryant. Where's Jake Metters at? So Jake is another stud receiver from Bryant. I didn't see that you were separate from your buddies. Let's give it up for Jake Metters, everybody. Jake Metters. Great to have him. Also, Brent Bender is here. He is the son of Mike Bender, who was the offensive line coach of Grant Garrett and those great offensive lines. He also was on the 1964 championship team, Mike Bender. Let's give it up for Brent Bender. Brent, great to have you here today. All right, without further ado, I want to mention a couple of folks. I know there are a lot of folks from UCA here today, so many. But I want to recognize the president, Dr. Houston Davis. Well, where's Dr. Davis? Please stand. Let's give him a round of applause. And the guy's been doing a super job for many years now. He's very comfortable on social media and on all the media opportunities he gets. Great to see him here every year when we get the opportunity. Dr. Brad Teague, the athletic director. Where's Brad at? Brad, great to have you. Do want to thank Steve East for all his help. If you're a member of the administration, whether it be sports or school administration, please stand from UCA and let's give them a round of applause. There's a good chunk here today. Let's give them a round of applause. See Kel Gober back in the back as well. But there's so many, can't mention everybody. Always a pleasure. You know, we're not a Razorback club. You know, I was telling Houston that last week. We're not a Razorback club. We're a football club. We represent every high school team, every college team, and that's what we want to represent. So we're glad to have UCA represented here today. We appreciate Nathan being here. Before we go to Sully's introduction of Coach Brown, you know, many people may not know this. I didn't realize you were from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And you bounced around. I think you moved to Fayetteville, then Morrilton, then you wound up in Russellville playing for Jeff Holt. You lighted up for Jeff Holt, 33 touchdowns, about almost 3,500 yards passing. Goes on to be a superstar, which you'll hear from Sully here in just a second. But what's amazing to me, I didn't realize, Coach, how many years you had been an assistant at UCA. You got a young start. You know, you had dabbled with the Jags and the Saints in the NFL for 1 year. Immediately comes back and becomes a quarterback coach, I believe, for, is it 4 or 5? 5 years he was a quarterback coach at UCA. Then you became the offensive coordinator for 4 years. So 9 years, right, basically out of college, this guy has learned the game. And I love the fact that of the top 10 offensive performances in the history of UCA, of the top 10, he's in 7 of them, either as a player or as a coach, head coach, assistant coach, coordinator, or whatever. So he has UCA Bears in his blood, and listen, so many great things ahead. When we can mention that you're a top 10 team in any level, you know, doing the Cliff Harris Award now, Coach, you know, I deal with NAIA Division II, Division III. Don't do FCS. But I appreciate when you accomplish a top 10 ranking at any level. Of course, we've honored many of your players at the Touchdown Club that are in the NFL right now. But what you're doing is very special. I love the fact your commitment to UCA. Where is his wife, Jessica, real quick? Let's give it up for Jessica, his wife, who's here today. She doesn't have the 2 kids I see, so you're just an adult day today, is right. So without further ado, let's go to Sully, Steve Sully from Channel 7, and let's check out our speaker for the day, Nathan Brown.
Today's speaker put up some incredible numbers as UCA's quarterback. He threw for 10,558 yards and 100 touchdowns in his career. Both are records for a college quarterback in the state. Nathan Brown has done nothing but win and win big in his 14 years as a Bear. He's been part of 3 conference championships, 1 as a player and 2 as an assistant coach. In his 4 years as offensive coordinator, UCA went 33-15. In his time as the Bears quarterback coach, UCA's quarterbacks averaged 3,211 yards a season. In December of 2017, Nathan became the 20th head coach in program history.
I think we're a sleeping giant. And when I say that, think about the Boise States of the world, the North Dakota States of the world, the Georgia Southerns of the world.
In this, his 2nd season as head coach, the Bears have been ranked as high as number 10 in the country.
Guys, we could have lost that game 31-30 on our end, but I got your back. I'm gonna go through the fire first.
Please welcome one of the greatest Bears of all time, UCA head coach Nathan Brown.
Thank y'all. I appreciate it. Thanks for this. Hey, look, very excited to be here today, first of all. One, off of a big win, which we talked about. So, I think I said this last year. It doesn't take long to get excited whenever Rex talks. So, Rex, listen to me. All right, so we've been known as a second-half team, especially the Bear fans know that. All 6 of our games this year that we've won, we've came back in the second half from deficits. It's well documented, and that's why they play 4 quarters. But what I would like to do, obviously I've got the halftime speech under control. But what I could use is I could really use some motivation at the beginning with your energy. I mean, you got one in you?
What do you need?
Well, I mean, I need something. But just so impressed with the enthusiasm of this club, and not only the promotion of high school football, but the promotion of all the college teams. I said it on air with Justin and Wes that this is a unique state. Like it's not just the FBS programs like you see in a lot of states, but you've got universities, colleges. FBS Power 5, Group of 5, mid-majors, FCS, D2, NAIA, D3. You don't see that in a lot of states. And when you've got that quality of football playing from the northwest corner to the south of this state and all parts in between, there's something special about that. And I think this state and obviously this club recognizes that, and I want to give you guys a hand for recognizing that. Second of all, just very humbled to be here speaking, to get the opportunity. I just probably devalued that football right there by signing it. With some of the names that have been here this year, just an amazing lineup to get the opportunity that David and your staff put together. Just very, very honored to be a part of that. But want to spend a little time today, just one, to promote UCA. Promote UCA, promote our football program, but 2, also promote coaching. A lot of times, we get into this profession, and as fans or general supporters or whoever you choose to follow or support, you look at coaches a little differently. You either put them on a pedestal, one, or you kick them in the dirt, two. It's one or the other. So just I saw some things on social media, got my brain ticking. Something that I could talk about. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to talk about what got me into coaching, like why. Why is coaching my profession? Why is this something that I choose to do on a day-to-day basis? I started out at UCA with an opportunity that not many people get. I mean, kids die to have the opportunity to get a scholarship to play college football. Get a scholarship in general to go enhance your education. But to play football at the same time was such a great opportunity. Parlayed that into a pretty good career. Had a lot of great players, a lot of great coaches invest in me to give me the opportunity to have a shot, at the next level. And I tell the story last year, just kind of leading up to my opportunity in the NFL of going to the combine, doing some different things. Well, I get to Jacksonville to play for the Jaguars, and the crazy thing about the NFL is the draft happens, then it's like a mad race for free agents if you don't get drafted. So you've got like 6-hour period there where you may have 6, 8, 10 teams calling you if you didn't get drafted. So my phone's ringing. I've got 4 or 5 options. Didn't get drafted, unfortunately. Thought I had an opportunity to. It didn't work out. God had other plans. And got a call from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Thought that was the best opportunity in the moment. So signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars, get with my agent at the time, go sign. Going to go down to Jacksonville. Jessica and I just got married. We're excited. We're getting ready to be Jaguars. And, it's amazing how the world, how life changes and you take different curves. But get on the plane flight to go to Jacksonville, get handed a playbook, probably about this thick. And we got practice the next day. And I'm like, okay. Your job as a quarterback is to know that thing in and out. I mean, but okay, your initial expectation is to learn the playbook, learn what you're installing day one, get ready to go. And so I go out there, practice one, not expecting to take 1 rep, obviously. At the time, David Garrard was the starting quarterback. Actually, an Arkansas State alum, Cleo Lemon, was the backup quarterback, and then there was myself and a guy named Paul Smith from Tulsa. So we get out there, and we're in the NFL you start practice off with walkthroughs, which is ultimately a very fast run through, which with the best athletes in the world you would expect. Coach Del Rio was the head coach at the time. Coach Dirk Cutter was the offensive coordinator, and we're going through this walkthrough, and he says, Brown, you're taking the next rep. And I'm like, what? Like, and it's a walkthrough, give me, but now there's nerves. I'm sweating, and I'll never forget, walking up to the plate and getting in the huddle. And now this is like, now I don't know if this was a good thing for me, but I'm in there with like the first team unit for some reason. I don't know if they got the numbers wrong or what it was, but I look across the huddle, and Torrey Holt is standing across from me. This was his last stop. Greatest show on turf, number 81, Kurt Warner, Super Bowl, right? Torrey Holt, this guy's probably 37, 38 years old, 17, 18-year-old veteran. And I get in the huddle, and I don't have a wristband or anything. Like the Jaguars didn't give me a wristband. It didn't work out to look at my play call. So I spout the play off as fast as I heard it, basically. It was, whatever the play was, it was like a paragraph. I mean, those NFL plays. And I remember running the play, and I remember just thinking, man, that was awesome. I was just thanking God I got the play out of my mouth. Like that was first feat that I was able to pass. I kind of wheel around with him, call the play, whatever, ran the play, come back to the sideline, we start stretch. Torrey Holt comes up behind me. I feel this guy pat me on the tail. He says, "Hey, Brown." And I'm like, that's pretty cool. He does know my name. Or he might have said 7. I don't know. I think I was number 7. But he comes up to me and goes, hey man, you going to have to slow that play call down in that huddle. I'm like, man, and all I said, this is all I said to him. This is exactly what I said to him. I said, I memorized it fast. I'm going to say it fast. Sorry, man. And I'm like, that is what it is. But what that says is like, mentality is to succeed no matter how it is. Like, I learned that play fast. I didn't know I was going to have to call that play in the huddle. Then I had to go execute that play, and then I get a seasoned veteran, possibly a Hall of Famer, come up to me and recognize me for that. You get cut by the Jaguars like a week later. Boom, I'm done. I'm fired. What do you do? Yeah, I tuck my tail between my legs, and I'm like, man, this maybe isn't for me. 6 hours later, you get a call from the New Orleans Saints. And so what did I do when I went to the New Orleans Saints? Well, I had to learn. I got another playbook with another 80 plays, 80 pages of the same plays that are called something different, and so a week later, I'm having to learn a whole new offense. And so I'm sitting there going, man, do I really love this football thing? I mean, this is tough stuff. I mean, I realize people say football isn't rocket science. Open up one of those binders and tell me it's not rocket science. And one thing that I remember was in my short time with both of those programs was watching the leadership within those organizations. But it started with the veterans on those teams. So when I got to New Orleans, Drew Brees was obviously he's still in his prime. Thought he was in his prime there. He's still going. What a great opportunity to sit next to him and watch him work. We had the opportunity there to get wristbands. I mean, Coach Sean Payton gave us wristbands, so all that, and Drew Brees actually suggested this to me. Now I'm not claiming Drew and I are best friends or all that, but yeah, I was in meeting rooms with Drew Brees, and he said, hey man, if you struggle learning a play, do what the best do and draw it on your wristband. So you flip open a lot of those NFL guys' wristbands, and they got, now obviously to this point, a lot of those young guys probably have it. They have wristband, what the play call is on there. But what it showed me is that even the best are finding ways to succeed. Finding a way to succeed. And so ultimately getting cut for a second time within a short amount of time and realizing that my life got flipped upside down and it wasn't going to work out, I had a decision to make. All right, what do I want to do? Do I want to lean on my degree and go sell insurance or go coach teach or, what do I want to do? Well, I decided that coaching was the best option for me. I love the game of football. I love everything that the camaraderie and team means to a community, means to a university, means to a school, means to the people that support it. And when you have a decision to make and a crossroads to make, it takes a lot of people and a lot of people investing in you, and that's what happens. I saw this on social media, and when I decided to become a coach, David, I don't think I knew exactly what I was getting into. And when I say that, I'm a coach promoter, okay? I'm in the profession, but I know what it takes and I've seen what it takes to be a coach. And it's hard. And many of you guys are coaches on the side with your kids, right? You're coaches in life. I'm not just talking about sports. I'm talking about in general. You always have to have coach and great peer leadership to have success in life. But I saw this on social media the other day, and I kind of wanted to read this. And, obviously, with the UCA, fans here and supporters and members of our university, there's I don't worry about any of this. You guys support me till the end. I know. I got it. You got me? They said that I could be anything I wanted, so I chose to work 60 hours per week, love other people's children, be doubted and questioned daily by society, develop an addiction to sports, ask my wife, unfortunately, it is what it is, have the best days ever. Some days are the best days ever. spend my own money and time on my program, have the worst days ever. So I've already had a best day, have the worst day. Have 20-minute lunches daily, maybe. Stay up at night worrying about your players. Not just the X's and O's, but worrying. You got 120 student athletes at 18 to 22-year-old. How would y'all like to stay up worrying about that? Spend more time with my athletes than my own family. Try to change the world. And then it says, be a good coach. That's tough. And that hit home to me when I saw that. I saw it on Twitter or something. But I was like, that's something that you don't think about on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, we put them up here. There's no doubt Nick Saban is the mecca of coaches, right? He's up on a pedestal. And then you got coaches that unfortunately, for whatever reason, the ball's not bouncing their way, and you want to stomp them in the dirt. But I can promise you, Nick Saban's probably on Sunday night, just like we were last night, probably at 9, 10 o'clock, trying to figure out what to do on third down. Just like that coach that's 0-7 is trying to figure out what to do on third down. Remember that. You got 120 athletes to care for. It's hard enough for me to spend all my time and investment in my wife and my kids, and I've got 120 athletes you got to worry about too. And that's where I want to make sure that the promotion of coaching is heard. That these guys are spending a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy, resources, everything they've got to give the best product they can on the field. Now, I will tell you, there is in my opinion, there's a way to do it right. And at our level, it starts with recruiting. It starts with getting the best student athletes, not only for your program, good kids, but great football players. And so I tell people all the time, why do you come to UCA? Well, you got three things. This is why you come to UCA. You come to UCA, first of all, to be a student. We're going to make sure you graduate. Look, we set a program record this year with our academic progress rate. In other words, we retained, had guys eligible, and graduated 97. We had a 971 score out of 1,000. So over 97% of our players were eligible, retained, and graduated. It starts with the student experience. They call it student athlete for a reason. Look, it's our job to give you an opportunity, an avenue of success as a recruit, as a family of a recruit, to better your life. But that starts with an education. Starts with an education. It starts with a first-class institution, starts with great teachers and faculty, and then it comes to us as coaches. And we're going to direct you in that right direction. Athletic and championship experience, number 2. You're not going to get better athletic and championship experience than you're going to get at UCA. Bar none. Look at the success of the 2000s. I know it's well documented by Steve East and our team, but if you look at teams and recognizing the state and the success of all the programs in the state, really over the years and years, but we're talking about this decade, UCA's second to none. UCA has a 148 wins since 2001. The next closest is Harding at 126. That's 2 years of 10-win seasons plus to catch up, and us not winning a game. You're going to have success. You're going to win championships. You're going to have the opportunity to win, not only in the classroom, but you're going to win on the football field. We expect to win. We don't hope to win. I talk to my players about that all the time. There's a big difference in walking out on the field every day and having the expectation to win a football game or win at life as opposed to hoping. If I go out there and hope, it may not happen, right? That's like a wish. But if we have the culture in place, we have the people around you to push life into you, that's going to breed expectation to win. I go back to adversity happening. Adversity happens every day in life, whether it's on the football field. Nothing gets you prepared for life better than football. Play a football game. It never goes to script, am I right? Never. I can script my top 10 plays, and 4 of them may get called, and 4 of them may suck. So you never know what's going to happen. It's just reality. So adversity happens. So I go back to, I was a redshirt freshman playing in 2005. We just won the Gulf South Conference that year, beat Arkansas Tech at Arkansas Tech. Last Governor's Classic game, we took that home that night to clinch the Gulf South, and we got a first-round game at Albany State in Georgia. So we're preparing all week, man. We're going to go play this team. They're really good. We're one of the top seeds. They're one of the top seeds. And we had this script made. And the script was, don't throw at number 2. Number 2 was an All-American corner, had like 8 interceptions, 6'2", played in the NFL. I mean, you couldn't have sculpted a prettier defensive back. I mean, this kid was like a Georgia transfer. I mean, just a phenomenal athlete. So our whole goal the whole time as a redshirt freshman was, okay, well, I can handle that. Don't throw at number 2. That's pretty easy, right? Well, guess what happens? The first 3 series we go out to play, first 3 series. Now, this isn't like the first half, like UCA sucks in the first half, whatever. This is the first 3 series of the first quarter. Nathan Brown, the football player, throws 3 passes at number 5, and he has 3 interceptions. That's adversity. In other words, we made 1 All-American into 2 All-Americans in one day. But guess what? UCA's culture, UCA's tradition, UCA's belief, we didn't bat an eye. We continued to work, and we won that game, eventually made it to the quarterfinals that year, had a pretty good run. Side note on that game, by the way, I don't want to throw the guy under the bus, but this is a commercial break. Coach Mike Norvell was on that team, and Coach Norvell during that game. So I won't say who condoned this. This was prior Dr. Teague, athletic director, so whoever that was. The coaching staff said, we're going to go at number 2. We're just not going to throw at number 2. He was an aggressive guy, really, one of those guys that plays with an edge, just everything about him was hard. And first play of the game, it was Tuesday. We come into meetings, and the offensive coordinator at the time stood up in front of everybody and said, I want one guy. I want one wide receiver that wants to take this guy's face mask and put it behind his head. Guess who rose his hand? Mike Norvell. You know what happened? He said, we'll take the 15-yard penalty. That was prior to getting ejected for stuff, so now they probably get in a little more trouble for that. But first play of the game, Mike goes up and he puts it on that guy. It was pretty nice, but not to throw Mike under the bus, but what a great alum and what he does. But a lot of things happened in that game, but yeah, what a great job he's doing as a UCA alum, right, at Memphis. Unbelievable. But what I want to portray too is 3. Going along with the first 2 things. You're going to be a great student. You're going to have a great championship experience. But 3, you're socially going to get better. When you get handed over to our program and who we're about and what we're about as a staff, we know that your mom, your dad, your aunt, your uncle, your grandma, whoever raised you is handing you over to me for the next 4 or 5 years of my staff. So therefore, it's my job to make sure that you turn into a young man into a grown man so that 20, 30, 40 years from now, they're sitting where you guys are sitting. They can pay for a Little Rock Touchdown Club ticket, have a successful business, and be sitting here talking about the good old days. That's what I want. And so when kids come to me, that is the goal. It's the holistic experience. It's not just about winning. It's not just about graduating. It's not just about the social side of things. We're going to make sure that experience is second to none. How is that available? How does that happen? Well, you want to talk about one of the most unique situations and experiences you can have is in Conway, Arkansas. Look, I have this vision. I was talking to a guy. We've been dealing with a guy named Jordan Montgomery. He's a great motivational speaker. He's invested a lot of time and energy. If you keep up with us on social media, he spent a lot of time and energy on our football team. And we were talking together before the season started. And one thing that we were talking about was I've got a vision. You think about the state of Arkansas and the way that it's kind of formed. It's kind of got pockets, different spots where people are a little different here, a little different here. What about Central Arkansas being known as Central Arkansas? And when I say that, hear me when I say this. What do you think of when you hear Fayetteville? You don't think of Fayetteville. You don't think of Bentonville. You think of NWA, right? You think of Northwest Arkansas. Well, Central Arkansas, it's in our name. We've got the logo. We've got the purple. Why not make this the region of Central Arkansas? Look, I know there's a lot of red. There's a lot of red, Razorback red. There's a lot of Red Wolf red. But I promise you that if you'll just let that purple in, it'll spread. I'm not smiling when I say that. I'm serious. There's no reason why from Conway to Benton to Pine Bluff to Lone Oak and all parts in between, Cabot, this can't be known as Central Arkansas. And I think it is. But I want to pump the University of Central Arkansas into Central Arkansas, just like that NWA theme is up in the northwest part. That's a vision. That's a goal. And that's much more than just football, and that's much more than just obviously my own agenda or whatever, but that so much entails so much of some of the people that are in here right now. And it's so exciting. You know, we're playing pretty good right now. And, you know, I would be failed to mention if I didn't talk a little bit about how our season's going to this point. I don't know what it is, but when I say a team or a player has the it factor, I truly believe this team has the it factor. And when I say it, you can't define it. I don't use that term loosely or lightly. I believe that our guys have found a way to, when I say pull on the same end of the rope, they're pulling on the same end of the rope when it matters. You know, we've got a team that's been knocked down. We've got a team that's been kicked and bloodied and bruised, and we find a way at the end of the day to win football games, and that's a testament, one, not only to our players, but our coaching staff and everybody involved in our program. And when you build a culture and you build a tradition that is predicated on love, right? I tell my guys I love them every day. I really do. Like, I love this team. I love the way they act. I love the way they play. I love their passion. Then good things will happen. They're going to go to fight for their coach. They're going to go to fight for their teammates. They're going to go to fight for their university. And so what we've stumbled upon, and I talked to our guys a little bit about this Sunday night in our team meeting following the win against Sam Houston, is you don't get this opportunity every year. You know, I haven't been coaching for 20, 30, 40 years, but I've been coaching long enough to know that these opportunities don't happen every year. And when they do, you've got to make sure you take advantage of them and relish every moment of it. And what our team has embarked upon is a 4-game season where we're at the top of the conference playing meaningful games when the leaves are changing and it's November. And if you can play a part of a program like that year in and year out, you're on to something special. I'm very excited about the group of men I have. There's a lot of great individual efforts that we have playing for us right now. I mean, I could sit here and name names. I'd probably leave a lot of guys off, you know, but as a team is what I'm most excited about. You know, a lot of people are stat watchers. I used to be the biggest stat watcher looker in the world when I was the offensive coordinator, because that's what I was judged on. I was judged on offensive efficiency. I was judged on how's my quarterback throwing, how are we running in the run game, you name it. I throw that out the door now. See, what I've figured out quick as a head coach is it's more about the big picture. It's more about the finish line. It's not necessarily how you got there. Like, sometimes I blink, I think I black out in the first half, and we end the game, and I'm like, how did we get here? But you get to the finish line, and that's the ultimate goal. And what you've turned this into is you've turned into a program that's won almost 70% of their games in the 2000s, and a team that expects to play big games in late October, November, when the leaves are falling, it gets a little cooler outside. 2 of our next 4 are at home. We've got a huge game this weekend on the road. You know, this season is set up very tough for us. 5 of our first 7 on the road. We're the only Southland Conference team with a winning record on the road. We're undefeated at home, 3-0. You know, and that's doing it with guys that didn't necessarily know that their number was going to be called. That's doing it with not a bunch of superstars. That's doing it with a leading tackler. We played 8 games. We've had a different leading tackler in 7 of the 8 games. That's just getting the next man ready and trusting the process and getting that team to the finish line. And that's what this is about. So we're looking forward to the remainder of the season. We're looking forward to the opportunity at hand. We're looking forward to continuing the success and the tradition and the culture that a lot of these people in here have built that I'm just a small part of. And UCA is going to be great was great long before I got here, and they're going to be great long after I'm gone. But I can promise you that I'm relishing, enjoying, soaking up every second I have with this, because it's just so enjoyable to be around the young men that we're bringing in here to the campus that are going to succeed, and then representing you guys in the Central Arkansas and the state of Arkansas as a whole. I'll leave you with this. I want to thank everybody here, and I know Mike could take I don't know how much time we have left, but I want to thank. First of all, I want to thank all the fans and supporters and alumni. I mean, look, as an alum, as a person that UCA gave so much to, I want to make sure you know that I want to give so much back. Meeting Jessica at UCA, obviously our 2 kids, like, they think they run the show at UCA. It's like crazy. but they're just a joy to grow up, and what a great community and university to have them a part of every day. But I really want to thank you guys, and that's what makes this place so special, University of Central Arkansas. I'm going to leave you with this. I know I've got the best fans and supporters in the world. Bobby Tyner, UCA great, tells me every week, he says, I'm with you, win or draw. He leaves the lose out. Thank y'all.
Nathan Brown, everybody. I want to remind everybody real quick. So just before we get out of here, is that, so Nathan, real quick, is that sometimes there's some confusion, the difference between where the Razorbacks play, FCS, Division II, Division III, and AI. So the coach that just beat Oklahoma this week at Kansas State came from North Dakota State, which is same level as UCA, where he won 4 national championships. I mentioned the Cliff Harris Award. There's a young man that won the Cliff Harris Award named Pierre Desires in the secondary with a guy that you know, George Odom. Yep. So that's what's happening at UCA. They're playing with the big boys. They're playing football. It doesn't matter what the level. Football is football. And I don't think they've got anybody better in the country than they can have in Nathan Brown. Get up for Nathan Brown, everybody. Thanks, Nathan. Great job. You want to get your picture with Coach Brown? Just come up around the side and we'll do that real quick. Great to have everybody here next week. Blake Anderson.